What if your sugar addiction isn't about food and more about how your brain is wired to cope, especially if you relate to traits like emotional swings, dopamine seeking, and impulsivity? As a therapist, I used to see sugar as just a bad habit. But when I looked at my own patterns and what I now recognize as neurodivergent traits, everything clicked. In this video, we're going to explore a connection that's changed everything for me, and what most people struggling with sugar have never heard: the overlap between sugar addiction and undiagnosed ADHD. I'll walk you through what that looks like and how to identify the signs, and what's actually helped me and my clients break free from the loop without shame, without force, without burnout.
Let's go.
To start, though, let me ask you a question. How would you even know if your sugar dependency was really a sign of ADHD? Because at its core, people that have ADHD have a lower baseline of dopamine circling in their brain. It's not just about focus. It's a brain-based difference in how we regulate dopamine, the neurotransmitter that regulates motivation, reward, and emotional regulation. Because people with ADHD tend to have a lower baseline, that means things like planning, focusing, and finishing a task take more effort for them. So the brain starts looking for new, quick, and easy ways to get the dopamine hit. And guess what gives you a fast dopamine hit? Sugar. So if you have ADHD or just a dysregulated dopamine system, your brain is going to start associating sugar with relief. Not just pleasure, but relief from overwhelm, emotional intensity, or boredom. Over time, this creates a loop. Low dopamine, crave sugar, feel temporary relief, crash, repeat. And that's why it's not just about willpower, it's brain chemistry. Now, I want to clarify, this does not mean that something's wrong with you. It means your brain is doing its best to regulate itself, and sugar became the shortcut. The problem is, that shortcut has a cost. Just a quick note before we go further, I'm not here to diagnose anything. This video is for educational and self-reflective purposes only. If something resonates, take what feels helpful, use what fits, and always get professional help when needed. There was a season in my life where my sugar dependency became deeply painful. I found myself doing things I never thought I would do, getting into food patterns and behaviors that felt frankly icky and gross. And at first it started out like a harmless idea. I quickly felt out of control. There was shame, and I felt totally disconnected from who I really wanted to be. I have never shared this publicly, and I'm really not ready to share the details of it right now, but just know I get it. The whole point of my channel is to support people like myself, my past versions of me who were struggling with sugar, who were in a pit of despair, who were stuck in the cycle of sugar loops and sugar dependency, and I didn't know how to get out. To shine a light on recovery, to shine a light on the truth that you can live your life healed from your sugar dependency. You can heal your relationship with sugar. When I was stuck in that time, I truly thought something was wrong with me. But the more I studied this, especially working as a therapist, I started seeing patterns. There was a major aha moment. What I had been calling an issue with food might have actually been my brain trying to regulate something deep. I started learning about dopamine, emotional intensity, and it all started to click. When I viewed myself through that lens of me using sugar as a way to self-soothe, it was like,
Wow.
a lot makes sense. This is one of the most massively overlooked patterns in mental health. Women whose ADHD flies completely under the radar because it shows up as food struggles, emotional eating, and shame instead of hyperactivity. Statistically, women with ADHD are 3 to 4 times more likely to struggle with disordered eating than women without it. That's not a coincidence. That's a coping system. But most never get diagnosed because their symptoms are buried under shame and food guilt instead. Ask yourself these questions to spot ADHD-linked sugar struggles. Number 1, why are you reaching for sugar? Is it emotional regulation? Is it because you're hungry? If sugar is being used to soothe overwhelm, boredom, or is tied to your executive dysfunction, that might point to an ADHD coping loop, not just a habit. Number two, does it happen when you need stimulation or focus? Do you reach for sugar when you're trying to start a task, to stay focused, or escape decision fatigue? That would happen to me all the time. Number three, do you feel emotionally dysregulated when you have sugar before and after? Emotional crashes, guilt spirals, feeling like you're numbing out all the time. This could be sugar dependence. But when it's tied with emotional intensity and a low tolerance for frustration and discomfort, it also might be ADHD masking itself. Number four, have you tried everything and you still loop back under stress to sugar? The difference is not always clear cut. And I'm not here to tell you that it is this or it isn't that. I'm here to give educational information and self reflection on how to cut back on sugar and pose the question if it might be something else, something more, something deeper. But if sugar feels like a tool to cope and not just a treat, and if it's tied to patterns like impulsivity and emotional swings or mental overload, it may be less about sugar and it might be your brain trying to regulate itself. Viewing sugar dependency through the lens of neurodivergency and recognizing how common disordered eating and substance use is when paired with ADHD, it's really clear that it's really not about willpower. Addiction is a disease. It causes dis-ease in everybody, and addiction doesn't care who you are. You can be rich, you could be poor, you could be fat, you could be skinny, you could be white, you could be black, you could be gay, you could be straight. We are all human, and certain chemicals affect our body, and that's it. And there's not much more we can do about it. And if you happen to have a neurodivergent brain, knowing this is so much more common in a neurodivergent brain chemistry, I think that gives permission to be a little kinder to yourself. You're not a failure. You're a human being trying your hardest to regulate, to self soothe, to cope in a world that wasn't designed for you, and to feel better. What if you're not actually addicted to sugar, but addicted to abandoning yourself every time things get hard? There was a moment I'll never forget. Actually, it's more like several moments over and over and over again with the same realization. It was when I realized it wasn't sugar that was ruining me. It was how I was treating myself around it. There are a lot of things that go into healing a dependency on a substance. If you're here watching this video, then you probably are familiar with some of it. Sugar can be an incredibly hard substance to get off of and to cut. It's everywhere around us, in our face, 24/7, on happy days, on low days, when you go to the grocery store, when it's your birthday, when it's a holiday, when it's a Monday, when it's a Friday, when it's the weekend, it's everywhere. There's a reason that they compare sugar to other harder substances. And I truly believe that if it wasn't so darn accessible and just around us and normalized and celebrated in society, it'd be a lot easier for people to not consume it. And therefore, a lot less likely to become dependent on it. I'm not saying it's easy. It wasn't easy for me. It took me so many tries, so many times, and it really looks different for everyone. A key factor is to stop making sugar the enemy. When we get stuck in black and white thinking, it gives us a lot of rigidity in our thinking and prevents us from feeling free and open to trusting ourselves. And the whole point is to trust yourself around sugar, not to view it as the black plague. Although I can't say I haven't been there myself, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't ever view it like that, because I think there's different moments in our healing journey that look a little more restrictive than others. But as a baseline, I think restrictive thinking, black and white thinking, rigid thinking is not the answer. When we release the tension around sugar and this substance and this food group that is available, although sugar is not food, let's just be clear. We can use it as fuel, yes, in emergencies, but sugar is not food. We want to move away from punishment and guilt around it and into curiosity and acceptance. Another thing that has helped me and clients I work with along their journey is recognizing that sugar is a symptom, not the real problem. Don't get me wrong, it is a problem. It's there, it's real. But again, it is not necessarily the enemy. It's all about our relationship to this other thing. All of life is about relationships. And so, working on a way to transform your relationship with sugar and therefore your relationship with yourself. Recognizing that, again, sugar's not the issue, but it's our brain, it's our nervous system, it's the way that we're soothing, the way that we're coping. It's asking yourself, what am I really craving right now? Another game changer is creating safety within your body. Using holistic tools like EFT tapping, which I do healing sessions of EFT, tools like breath work, somatic awareness practices, mindfulness, nervous system regulation tools, polyvagal exercises. All of these things are going to teach you how to get out of fight or flight, to recognize the signs, and to get back to a parasympathetic state of rest and digest. When you get the urge, when you get the craving, you don't go to war with yourself. You listen and you begin to build self trust. And by the way, I have 3 free amazing resources that help do exactly that. Habit Tracker, it's a hypnosis meditation that helps you get past a craving with 15 minutes or less, and a self reflection journal for healing your relationship with sugar. The next way I do it and help my clients do it is to replace sugar with other activities that are going to give you the dope. Yes, sugar is quick, it's fast, it's everywhere, like we just said, but so are other things like nature, getting outside, getting your feet on the ground, your friends, your partner, your family. Give them a hug. Hugging someone for 20 seconds gives you tons of release of oxytocin and dopamine. Give your pet some cuddles. Talk to a friend. Do some self expressive activity like craft or a journaling exercise like the one in my free resource. Develop a spiritual connection. When it comes to recovery from any substance, having something to connect to that is higher than yourself, it doesn't have to be God or have some overarching like spiritual or religious connotation, but connecting to something bigger, something outside of yourself. That could be nature, that could be the world, that could be Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, that could be your ancestors, that could be your future self, your higher self. All of these things as a concept are really important as developing and integrating for yourself an anchor to hold on to call on, to rely on. I didn't just cut sugar, I replaced it with soul nourishment. Move your body, exercise. These are all going to be amazing for helping someone live a healthier life. Exercise has been shown study after study to massively help manage ADHD. I shifted from sweetness through food to sweetness in my life. And I want to remind you that I'm not over here not having any sugar. In my journey, healing my relationship to sugar means that I'm not having disordered eating with sugar. It means that I have a few bites and I feel satisfied. It means that I'm not overeating with sugar. It means that I'm kind to myself when I want it and I let myself have it. It means I find better ways to enjoy it and really be proud of making something that has zero processed crap in it and can share it with people I love. It means I can have fruit because it's yummy and I want it, not because I'm trying to only have fruit and I can't have anything sweet and I'm not allowed to have that. And you see, healing your relationship with sugar is possible, and it means making peace with yourself and making peace with the habits that you have had that maybe aren't so healthy or don't serve you and aren't helping you cope and soothe with your body and your nervous system. And the fifth thing, I made it about power, empowering myself, not perfection. My healing and the healing that my clients go through, it comes in layers, not with rigid rules, but with deep compassion and self acceptance. stop outsourcing their worth to sugar behavior. And in doing so, they reclaim their intuition, their energy, and their inner authority. I didn't cut sugar by going cold turkey, not even. I healed by finally listening to my body, honoring my spirit, and ending the war with myself. But here's the thing, everything I just told you is useless if you don't know how to actually interrupt the sugar loop when it hits. And that's exactly what I show you in my next video. I'll link it up here and I'll put it down here. I walk you through my sugar method. And this is just one of many processes that I walked through myself and I help my clients walk through when they're learning to heal their relationship with sugar. Finally, feel free of it, gain their intuition, gain their power back, and explore their spiritual connection and spiritual gifts. So go watch that video now and you'll never look at sugar the same way again. DM me on Instagram or grab my free resource in my link. I'd love to support you in my coaching program, Nourish and Flourish.